A lot of music companies are selling us crap that we don't need, and I believe it's our responsibility to push things forward and create what is needed in the world. And for a long time I was wondering how we're gonna make this video as useful as possible. And then I came up with the answer. We're gonna interview one of the greatest innovators of all time. We're going to start off with one of Roger's early designs, the LM1. This drum machine was used by Prince, Michael Jackson, and even Stevie Wonder. Let's find out some of Roger's thoughts behind creating this product.
If I'm thinking of a musical idea, I would like to just immediately start using it. And I found that many of the products of the day required you to open a manual and make you go through an hour of learning things which you shouldn't have to do. So I tried to make things that were easy to use. So when I made the first drum machine, I focused on things that were useful, and I didn't put anything in which is just sort of an engineering plaything. I really wanted it to be musically useful.
One of the significant innovations with this product was it was the first drum machine with quantize and swing. And something I find crazy, to this day in our DAWs, we are still using quantize and swing to adjust the rhythm of our tracks.
Well, I knew that swing was important, and it turned out that it was very easy to do in software. You just basically delay every alternate 16th note and you get swing. And the amount by which you delay it determines the amount of swing. And if you combine that with good dynamics, it can be much more of a human feel or a looser feel. And so there's all those little places in between that really give you different musical grooves, and really are more conducive to different musical grooves.
Our next question is, for the MPC, how did you come up with the 16-pad design?
There's some people that were starting to play with 3 fingers vertically. So they would play a hi-hat on the top and then kick and snare below that. For those people, the 6x3 format didn't give them enough range above that. And it seems for the other type of people who wanted to play more horizontally, 4 pads wide was adequate for their needs. So it largely just had to do with trying to come up with a format that would satisfy people who would play vertically, in addition to people who play horizontally.
What are the advantages or disadvantages of working with another big company to develop a product versus working independently like you do now with the LinnStrument?
When I worked with Kai, things started out great. And then once they had some success with it, then they felt they didn't need me anymore. And that's one of the problems. If you don't own the technology or have rights to it, or have the whole system under control, then there's always somebody who wants to take more money. And then, of course, they were bought by Jack O'Donnell of InMusic, and then he immediately stopped my royalties, and he did all kinds of dirty lawyer stuff. So the bad news about working with another company is that if they start running low on money or they start running high on greed, you're screwed. And there's not much you can do about it.
Roger Linn has been working on this, which is called the LinnStrument, and I believe it's one of his greatest designs. So let's talk about that.
Well, right now I'm focusing on a better human interface to electronic sound for musicians. And that's how I would describe what LinnStrument is. And so that really takes most of my focus. And once you have a good interface, there's different things you can do with it depending on what you want to do musically.
This is one of the most underrated pieces of equipment out there right now. And for that reason, we're going to make a part 2 to this video showing you why this is crazy. So if you haven't seen that video already, check it out. So Roger, how do you go about designing a new product?
In the old days, I would start by penciling on grid paper and just draw out where I wanted the controls to be, and I wanted to tweak it over. I would erase it and mark it down. And now I do that in Adobe Illustrator. And then once I've got a control layout, I will print it out or just show it on the screen at real size and just imagine myself playing with it. Is it useful for me? The things that I want to do when I'm making music, or the people have told me what they want to do when they're making music, can they get to those things easily and quickly in such a way that it doesn't interrupt the creative flow? And once I get in a range of controls that I think is very good, then I recreate that panel with real 3-dimensional objects in my 3D modeler and try to create something that is beautiful in addition to functional. And it's always a compromise between ideal functionality, making the thing small and compact enough and affordable, and there's always a sweet spot somewhere in there where you can make something that really does meet the needs of professionals, but isn't too outrageously expensive.
If somebody was getting into product design, maybe they was frustrated about something that was too long in their workflow, and they thought, oh, this will be a new way to approach the whole thing. Like, a lot of your designs have streamlined the workflow from a thought to something that can be done instantly. So how would somebody go from an idea to putting it into the world?
Great question, Anton. It's easier than it has ever been because the hardware and the software and the tools are cheaper than they've ever been. And it's timely you said this because I'm teaching a course at Stanford called Designing Physical Interfaces for Music. It's a 1-week workshop, 5 days. If it's in person, it's only $500 to attend for the 5 full days. And if you're doing it online, it's only $250 to attend. So it's a great way to learn about these things. And we base all our projects, unless someone prefers something different, we base it on a little microcontroller card called the Teensy, which is based on the Arduino system. It's very easy to program, basically the C language, but with a lot of great functions you can call in your code. And there are lots of tutorial videos on how to do this. So it's a great way to get started with that. Another thing is graphical programming languages like MaxMSP from Cycling 74 or Pure Data, which is a free version of the concept of MaxMSP that's free and open source. And these ones are great because instead of typing lines of code, which are scary for a lot of people, you just connect objects together. And there are all these great sites you can go to, like Adafruit in New York. SparkFun is another one. I think they're in Colorado. And they have all these parts at very, very low cost that you can connect up to your Arduino system or Teensy system or Raspberry Pi, things like that. So they're just wonderful tools available. And if anyone is interested in that, I encourage them to either take the course or to visit some of the sites I've mentioned and learn about them.
So if you're interested in designing your own products, I'll leave a link in the description of all of the online resources that Roger recommends. And for the rest of us that are interested in creating music, you definitely need to check out our video on the LinnStrument because this is an instrument that can separate you from the whole pack. So if you want to support our channel and our mission to create the best videos for music creators, hit the subscribe button. You can also join the rest of our patrons if you're not in there already, and you get exclusive content and all of the presets and synth sounds that we've made so far. See you in part 2 of our video about Roger Linn.